And you actually saw your name written in the book of life.
I did, Randy, and I was in heaven learning about several things, and I was learning them in my heart, if that makes any sense. When I was moving toward this large gate, an opening through the wall, I thought I was going to be ushered right through that gate, but beforehand I was paused by a very large and majestic angel. And he stopped me with authority, but still with a nice countenance on his face. And he pointed slowly over here, and I saw a pedestal. On that pedestal was this large, incredible book with light coming out of it. And somehow I knew, again, if I had questions, the answers would come to my heart without words. And of course, I was asking, what is this book? Is this the book of life? Oh no. And I knew about the book of life. I knew that you would not be able to get into heaven without your name being in there. And I'm not sure at that point whether I understood whether it was written in the book of life or it was not blotted out of there were some things I didn't understand, but I did know this. If my name wasn't there, I'm in trouble. And I wasn't positive, Randy, that I would be accepted uh, beyond this point. And so the angel had me look, and I looked down on the page, and there was just coming out in gyrating light, moving, was only my name. I could see other names, but you know how on the computer you see grayed out area? It was like that. It was like everything else was grayed out except for my name, which was written from right to left. And inside there, I thought, whoa, wait a minute. Um, that's not my birth date. And I'm still thinking like an earth being would. And that's the thing about the experience that God gave me. Everything was upside down. Everything that we learn on earth is, even though this is a reflection of heaven, we have over time, we have just perverted God's truth. But anyway, there's my birth date. It seemed like my birth date, and it was wrong. The date you were given life by God. It's your date of life. When you're still in the womb, you're given life on this date, the day that you were conceived. That's when I was created. We're all given that date, a day of creation. And in heaven, that is recorded in my belief. I've that's what I saw. And then I saw another date there, and I thought, what the what what's that date? And again, I felt like there was communication going on, but it was heart to heart. And I realized, oh, I see. That's the date I was, as the Bible said, as Jesus said, born again. I had forgotten all about it. It came back to me quickly, but I had forgotten all about it. It was the most important thing I'd ever done in my entire life, and I'd forgotten it. It was not readily available like so many other things were. But then when I had that flashback come back, I realized, okay, that's when I knelt, not that you have to kneel, in a chapel service, not that it has to be a chapel. I came with my heart and I put my will underneath the will of the Lord Jesus. I surrendered my heart, my mind, my life to Jesus. I gave my all to him at age 12 at a summer camp in Southern California, up near Lake Arrowhead, if you know where that is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and that's where my spiritual life began. And at that moment, I realized again, we have everything upside down, backwards. I was created on this date. That's important in heaven's perspective. I was born again, reborn, given spiritual life on this date. And then there was no death date. And yet I knew I had to be dead, right? I saw my dead body. I didn't see life in my body, and I'll fast forward or flashback, however you want to talk about it. But there was no blood flow, according to the witnesses that were there. There was no blood flow coming out of my body. Therefore, it's likely he's obviously dead. And there was cuts everywhere and no blood flow. So they pulled back, not realizing they could help me. So I thought I was clearly dead, but there was no death date on there. And I said, Dale, you never die. You don't die. You're an eternal being. You live forever, one way or one place or the other. And I realized, oh my gosh, okay, so I'd had everything right. So these are just a few of the things that happened before I even hardly understood what had happened in an airplane crash.